So now attorney Barton Morris is here to help them.
Our society has said marijuana should be legal, so we should not be jailing people for it, especially non-violent offenders. The penalty needs to be proportionate to the crime.
Attorney Barton Morris and his client are now suing the office of the Wayne County Sheriff.
When recreational marijuana comes, it's going to be regulated and tested and safe.
Isn't this just like a speed trap?
No, I'd call it entrapment.
Barton Morris is a local, respected pot attorney.
The neighbor, if he can just see it, yes, it's okay, because that's still not a publicly accessible place. Now, if the neighbor can smell it, that's a whole other story. Every bit of information I get seems to favor Proposition 1 passing. Those dispensaries that have been operating under that temporary authorization have to get a state license in order to continue to distribute marijuana. This changes all the time. Every single day, we're getting new information and new news comes out. He hadn't received his medical marijuana card yet, but thankfully, Michigan law and the Medical Marijuana Act says that if a physician is certified to you for the use of marijuana for medical purposes, then you have that defense.
And that's the defense Morris used in court. Just weeks before the raid, Lawrence had seen a doctor who recommended he use marijuana for his pain.
We demonstrated that there was a bona fide relationship with his physician that had certified him for the use of marijuana, that he was in possession of the marijuana for his personal medical use, that he uses quite frequently, quite often, in several different forms, and so the amount of marijuana that he had here wasn't unnecessarily large. Rudy is one of the first people to provide a medical marijuana dispensary in the city of Detroit that was permitted by the city. It's my goal to see to it that he is released from prison. They were prosecuting him as a continuing criminal enterprise, right? Because Rudy has all of these homes allowing people to grow marijuana in buildings that he owned to service the community. All this marijuana is being grown and being sold at the dispensary. He's doing nothing different than what all of these other dispensaries are doing. For the last several years, medical marijuana dispensaries in the state of Michigan, in the city of Detroit, all over the state have been getting their marijuana from overages from caregivers. And so they're being distributed to dispensaries. He was just one of the few individuals that was prosecuted for it and eventually jailed for it. It's policing for profit. It is a law enforcement tactic that is not permissible.
He says deputies knew that Greenleaf was selling illegally, so they waited nearby the dispensary for people just like his client.
They're surveilling a place, knowing people are coming out purchasing marijuana and pulling them over and then taking their car. People can go to a regulated store and buy safe, effective, recreational marijuana. They don't have to get it from drug dealers. The state law is intended to take away the vehicles and the profits that drug dealers are making. This is an individual, a single mother who's coming out of a dispensary that bought $10 worth of marijuana and now her car was taken.
Can I go into a medical marijuana dispensary and get some marijuana?
You can't. You're not a medical marijuana patient.
But the new law allows those medical marijuana patients to give me some of their medicine.
The neighbor, if he can just see it, yes, it's okay, because that's still not a publicly accessible place. Now, if the neighbor can smell it, that's a whole other story.
And that would be a nuisance, and that's not okay. And forget about smoking pot in the driveway or your front porch, because that area would be open to the public.
Not in the driveway, not in the car, in your driveway.
Could I smoke pot in your office?
No, because this is publicly accessible. This is a place, my office is a place where people...
What about after hours?
I'd say yes.
Interesting.
Every bit of information I get seems to favor Proposition 1 passing. There's at this point about 34% of the votes are in, and we're up 56 to 42, 57 to 42. So yes, I'm feeling very confident.
Barton says more is needed to keep up with patients' demands.
There's 277,000 patients in the state of Michigan, all over the state of Michigan, and most of them are relying upon getting their medicine from regulated dispensaries.